What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to The Watch. My name is Another Notch, and joining me tonight, as always, is Shane Goocher, the Gooch. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've had a lot on my mind. I've had a lot of Overwatch on my mind. I've literally been dreaming about playing Overwatch. I'm not being facetious. I have dreams where I mean, it's not like a dream where I'm in the game. It's a dream where I'm like sitting at my computer playing the game. So I'm literally dreaming about like sitting at the computer, and I still like have all the sensory information and like the tactile information of touching the computer and everything. But then I wake up and I realize that it was just a dream, and then I get upset and realize it's not the 27th.
Well, we are a week away. It is Tuesday. We are 7 days away from the 27th. We are 7 days from the initial invite for beta. Fingers crossed, you and I both get in. We are on the friends and family, so hopefully we will secure a spot in the beta. But we won't know until next Tuesday, like the rest of you, unfortunately.
Yes.
So we did have an amazing week with Overwatch. Of course, we got the beta announcement last week, but the big, awesome, exciting thing was the streams that took place on Thursday. We got two streams. So we got one stream from Haley Innick, and we got one stream from Elheim, and they were both amazingly done.
Yeah.
Got invited out to Blizzard HQ. They were playing at HQ with developers, playing against each other. We got to see two different sides of basically the community, or what I feel like this community is going to become. We had Elheim, who at one point I think was sitting at like 60,000 viewers.
Insane.
And super high. Yeah. There was a number 3 spot on Twitch that day.
Yeah.
And then we had Haley Innick, who came out, and she's a Counter-Strike Go streamer. She streams a lot of first-person shooters. I think she was up to like 10,000. But we got to see two different sides of, I think, where this the Overwatch community is going to be. Now, for me, I watched both. I had them up on a multi-Twitch. And they both did fantastic. The quality, the questions being asked was amazing. Now, Elheim, I know, took to the Reddit Overwatch page. And he said, hey guys, I'm going to be doing this, but I want to make sure I give you all of the information you guys want. Ask me questions here. During the stream, Elheim was actually fielding questions to the developers that he was getting from his chat, and he was getting from the Reddit page where he posted, which was wonderful. We got so much more information than I thought, that I thought we were going to get. We got a lot of questions answered. We saw some really amazing gameplay. We saw some art. Now, I don't think you've actually got your hands on the game, correct? You didn't get to play it last year at BlizzCon.
Unfortunately not.
So, as someone who has not played the game, what were your thoughts? It's like the first time you actually got to see unedited live footage. When you saw it, what did you think right off the bat?
Well, I have, I come into it from certain perspectives, right? I come into it from someone who is deeply competitive, and that was my number one concern, is how is this game going to be competitively, not only in the very opening of the gates into beta, but later down the line, what is the mindset going to be and whatnot. And what comforts me from the competitive part of me is that we know that Blizzard is putting emphasis on the competitive aspect. Well, we don't. Let me rephrase that. We have good reason to believe that Blizzard is going to put a good amount of emphasis onto the competitive aspect of it. And the reason I say there's a number of reasons. The big one, well, there's two big ones. The first big one is that spectator mode is already implemented in the game.
Right.
And custom games are already implemented into the game as well. So that right there already says that obviously custom games are great for just hanging out with your friends and playing against your friends and stuff like that. But the main thing behind it is so you can organize teams against teams, right? So there's already organization. The infrastructure is already there for a tournament. I mean, October 27th, someone could have a tournament set up. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but theoretically, the infrastructure is already set into the game where that would be possible. The second big reason is, and I think this is, I don't remember where I heard this. I don't remember if it was on Elheim stream or not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the Blizzard devs actually said that they've been doing in-house tournaments.
Yeah, they did mention in-house.
What I'm assuming is what would be known as the alpha build, that they're already doing in-house tournaments inside of Blizzard.
Yeah.
So that already shows that these developers are all about getting this game out for public access, get their hands on it, and allow the community to basically do their work for them and expose the game themselves through tournaments,
Right.
through streamers, et cetera, which is exactly what they're doing on the 27th. They're
Right.
giving all the big media people and everything like that access, as well as, I guess, hopefully friends and family
Right.
and stuff like
Fingers
that.
crossed.
So
Now,
that's one of the concerns I have.
so at watching the stream, we got to see some of the amazing art, the amazing set pieces. For me personally, what the big thing that stood out was the art. They're telling this story of Overwatch through the art. We had a tribute wall for all of the fallen heroes. They had mechs walking in the background and showing that it's still war is still on everybody's mind because they're still being protected. This game is not going to have a single player campaign. They mentioned it. It's strictly multiplayer.
Yeah.
So for them to put as much emphasis in the world as we saw, I thought for me was fantastic, because some of us think, and some of us, I guess I would say, know that this used to be Project Titan, the big MMO that Blizzard was working on. They scrapped it, and everybody believes this is the PvP that came from Titan, and that's what we're getting. And you look at this beautiful art and what they've done telling the story, and I have hope that we'll actually see really cool Easter eggs, tiny Easter eggs throughout the world that show you more of Mercy's story. They show you more of Tracer's story. Hey, look at this collage of Tracer. She's the war hero. So I have faith that we're going to see beautiful things like that. And the second thing was just amazing gunplay. The game is in early beta, and it looked fluid. Headshots seemed to be registering. There was some choppy animations, but it wasn't like I just watched Elheim shoot that dude in the face 4 times, and it didn't. Nothing happened. Yeah, everything just seemed to be fluid. It was good. It was perfect. It was almost. I almost for a second thought you were abducted and a robot was sitting there, just taken off of screen. And we have Robot Gooch. The Robot Gooch is with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just Skype lag.
So what were the top things you noticed, or the top things you were most excited about after watching the streams?
The moment in the stream that resonated inside of me was when at the end of the stream, and I'm sure a lot of you guys noticed this, Notch yourself included, that you could tell that they were kind of trying to bring the stream to an end.
Yep.
Alaheim's posture kind of changed, because he was doing this the whole time, like, you know what I mean, understandably so. And then he kind of like slumped down and went like this and looked around a little bit, and then he kind of, I'm assuming the devs were next to him, I don't know, but he looked at someone to the side of him and went, hey guys, could we play more? like almost like a school child asking for more porridge. And I guess he was afraid to ask that, obviously. Maybe, intimidated, understandably so, being at Blizz headquarters. And the devs, the people developing the game, were all about it. They're like, sure, we'll play all night, man. Like that to me shows that the guys developing the game, they have love in it, they have passion for it. These guys have probably, Lord knows how many hours that the developers have been putting into this, especially with the beta coming up, it's crunch time for them. And they have the love for this game that they've been working so tirelessly on. And that makes me feel so good about the future of the game, that they're going to be, they're not going to be slacking. They're going to be doing whatever it is they need to do to make sure this game is its best, to put it at the top of Twitch, to put it on the top of esports, whatever their goal is, which obviously time will tell what their goal is. We can speculate all we want. And I think that was just an amazing thing that makes me so happy and very, very hopeful for the future of the game.
Yeah, same. Now, we did get to see a couple hours of unedited gameplay. After watching that, I do have some concerns. I feel like we have and it is early beta, so this concern is kind of nitpicky. So Reddit, be gentle with your comments. I feel like the character progression, if I'm going to invest time in a character, I feel like they're kind of going the hero's route, where it's like, oh, you'll get a new skin and you'll get a portrait, or you'll get a tint and a portrait. Give me something more. Give me something more cosmetic. And I know we're probably going to get a store with microtransactions where I can buy gun skins. But let's say I hit level 10 with Reinhardt. Give me a gold hammer of destruction. Like, give me a little bit more. And I know it's early on. Yeah, right.
Stuff like that. Maybe a hat.
Yes, I'll take a hat. Give me a hat.
We'll go full Valve.
We will. There's so many things they can do, and I know it's nitpicky. And the second thing for me was a apparent, which seemed the strength. They seemed very strong when you're looking at the healers. When you were looking at a Mercy and she was on a Widowmaker and she was keeping Widowmaker alive when 3 people are shooting at her, and Widowmaker's one-shotting people because she switched to the buff, her buff laser, and we do have some very definite MOBA aspects in the game. But this early on, it's me just being nitpicky, my concerns. But what are some of the concerns, or what are some of the things you saw? Were like, maybe that could be adjusted, or time will tell, and things they need to fix. What did you think would stood out?
For me, that's kind of a loaded question, because there's kind of I'm gonna touch on a couple of points here that all kind of fall one into the other. And as you mentioned, the supports seem strong, which I'm all about that.
Right.
Obviously, there needs to be a middle ground to where they can't just absolutely make people indestructible and whatnot. But supports being playmakers, I think, is really a really healthy thing.
Right.
Because when you think support, every time a competitive gamer hears support, they go like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the guy in the back lines. I don't get the attention.
Right.
No one cares about me. But even though there's the ones truly kind of holding the team together,
right,
keeping them organized and whatnot, and alive, more importantly. But I like that with strong supports come the ability to make really big plays. But obviously, again, there's a middle ground there when it comes to balance. They have to be careful because there is a very kind of small, what in the medical field we call therapeutic index, but I couldn't think of another word for it, like a razor's edge sort of thing, where it's very easy to tip one way or the other.
Right.
If you know what I mean, like if it's slightly too powerful, then it's just way too powerful. There's no happy medium there, and then the game will become toxic, sort of thing. So that's going to be really I think will be hard to balance initially, obviously, as the game develops and everything.
Right.
The games are always going to be unbalanced. It's beta, guys. It's early access. Well, not early access, but early into developing the game. Stuff's not going to be balanced. Whether you're getting in on the 27th or getting in 3 months from now, things aren't going to be balanced still. I mean, that's what's called beta testing for.
Exactly.
But so the next concern I have when it comes to balancing, just a balance as a general, specifically, as I mentioned, I have that competitive mindset, is what I'm really kind of paying attention to right now, is how, and I'm sure everyone noticed this, how teams could pick multiple of the same mirror heroes within their team. They could have 2 Winstons, they could have 2 Lucios, they could have et cetera, et cetera. And not only that, but they could have mirrors on each team, so you could have a Winston versus a Winston. And obviously for your casual, quick match, non-ranked sort of stuff, just go have a good time, do 5-on-5 Winston, go 5-on-5 Lucio,
right,
5-on-5 Tracer. All of those sound like they would be very fun. Tons of fun to do, especially the Tracer one. The Tracer one would be a nightmare. But when it comes to actually a ranked mode, which will inevitably be put in, is what is there going to be their idea? I mean, is there going to be a draft? Is it going to be just free-for-all where, yes, anyone can pick anyone and it doesn't matter? That's the main concern I have, is it because if that is the case, where you can have mirrors on each side or within each team, then when it comes to balancing, that is a huge... I mean, there's exponentially many more variables that go into balancing when you can have a Winston versus a Winston, or 2 Winstons, or you know what I mean? Like that, there's so many variables that go into that balancing that will be so incredibly difficult that I really hope that Blizzard takes that into consideration for ranked play. They haven't even mentioned ranked play.
Right.
All we have right now is speculation and rhetoric as far as ranked play goes. I have a feeling that will be the case, that there'll be a rule set within ranked, whatever word they use to call it ranked. But that's definitely a big concern of mine, is how will that play out? Blizzard's smart, but they have been shoddy with their balancing before,
right,
in some of their games, and that's been a big problem they've had in the past, is they've always been maybe a little bit slow, or kind of, I don't want to say ignored, but just put balancing off for much more longer than it ever should have been. So that's my concern, but we'll see how it goes.
Again, we're nitpicking, guys.
Yeah,
we are really, truly just nitpicking here. We don't currently have our hands on the game. I've thankfully got to play it last year at BlizzCon, and hopefully here in a couple of days we'll get it. But right now, we're just initial thoughts on what we saw from the stream, which overall, for me was fantastic. I got to nerd out on Overwatch. I got to see some absolutely incredible gameplay. We got to listen to a wonderful commentary by Elohim. We got to see how the developers play their thought process when they were taking objectives or when they were trying to push the map back. We got to see some incredible footage. And I know in the coming weeks we're going to have so much more footage. Hopefully we'll be able to provide some footage.
Endless.
Yes, it's going to be insane. And then, of course, BlizzCon, guys, is 2 weeks away. We're going to have tons of information come out of BlizzCon, which we're going to do a BlizzCon kind of special very soon. We'll talk about things we want to see and hear. But, guys, thank you. That's going to be our show tonight. That's going to be technically episode 3 of The Watch. It's episode 1 with the Gooch. That's going to be our episode this evening. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, please leave those down below. Don't forget to follow us here on YouTube. Hit that like button because the likes really help. And
yes, please.
Guys, we will see you next Tuesday when the game launches with another episode of The Watch. Hopefully, we can give you our initial thoughts. Hopefully, we can provide some gameplay footage. If not, we're going to be stealing other people's gameplay footage and watching it and talking about it because we love this game and we don't even have it yet. Gooch, tell the wonderful people where they can find you on the social medias, my friend.
You can find me on Twitter, Shane Goocher, Twitch, Shane Goocher Gaming. Got to have that extra word in there. It's a couple extra syllables. Facebook as well. And as far as the show itself goes, guys, we're in the middle of developing a website. As far as the future goes, this is a very early episode. We'll just go with episode 1. This is the first real episode we've had that's had actual content. We've actually had a dialogue and whatnot about certain subjects of the game. But anyways, there's a website coming up. We have a lot of really cool stuff in development that I don't want to talk about yet because it's not 100%, so I don't want to say something is happening when we don't know if it's 100% happening yet. But really, really cool things. We have some other people involved in the background. They're going to be helping us out that are incredibly talented people, incredibly passionate people who have been working behind the scenes in other Blizzard titles before. Cannot wait to see that develop and whatnot. But yeah, we got a website, we got our YouTube up there, which obviously you're hanging out here. Later, I believe within the next episode or two, we're going to be live streaming these on Twitch on Notch's channel. So make sure you guys go to his Twitch channel as well and get over there. And this is a very early part of what we're going to be doing every single week. Cannot wait to get the ball rolling, guys. And for those of you who are early on with us, thank you so much for your support. And tell your friends, tell your loved ones. Just go out there and get the word out about this show, guys. Because this is not just us trying to ride the wave of Overwatch. This is something that Notch and I have been wanting to do for a very, very long time. And him and I have been passionate about video games for our whole entire life. And we cannot wait to get our hands on this game, man. I think I'll end my amble with that. Cannot wait to actually get my hands on this game.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week where we talk BlizzCon, we talk beta, and we just talk all Overwatch, guys. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you next Tuesday.